is a different voice than you're used to hearing. We got substitute teacher vibes. Steve he always wants me to say substitute professor vibes, but I'm not a professor, Jeff. I can't get the professor honor. We've got to leave that for the sports professor.
Correct. Right.
So I'm just a substitute teacher. I'm the guy that puts the TV on. We play a movie and just try to get through things here. But
and those were the best substitute.
Exactly. That's why I like that vibe. I don't want to be a substitute professor. I don't even know what vibe that is. I just want to be a substitute teacher. Roll in the old TV on the cart and then play like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from the 80s. So that's what we'll be doing today here, but glad you could join us. The sports professor, Steve Project, is in Arizona. He's doing some scouting for baseball, but in his stead, he wanted to do a baseball show. So we've got some reinforcements in the studio. Jeff's going to want to talk some baseball. He was wanting to talk that on my show, and it got kind of pinched out here the last time he was on there. And then we have Terry Lowery in. He's going to talk to us about the legacy of Bob Sullivan, and we're excited about that, and the whole Fans of Valley Field project here. So we're excited to have him in the studio. For fans of my show, I'm the host of Sports Intel, and then the co-host of Shane Graham's Extra Points on Thursdays. I normally do the thing of the day. So it's National Chocolate Nut Day. And so, Jeff, I'm curious if you have a favorite chocolate nut. I'm not a big fan of combining chocolate and nuts. Like I don't want walnuts in my brownie. Take those out. I just want a brownie.
See, now I am a 100% chocolate brownie guy. But I can do a chocolate-covered nut. I'm boring. Mine is the chocolate-covered peanut. And if I had to do 1A, it's probably the macadamia nut.
That's an interesting second choice. See, mine, the nuts that I like aren't necessarily conducive to being covered in chocolate. Like I like it like a cashew and a pistachio.
They do them.
Although, what's up with this Dubai chocolate thing?
Have you ever
Can we talk
had
about this?
A Dubai bar?
I have not. I saw one when I stopped at the gas station on the way here. And I've seen a lot of this Dubai stuff, and I don't know what's going on with it. I did a lot of traveling for my intelligence career, but I never was in that area of the world. So what's up with this? You've had one, Jeff?
I have had one. There was a local young lady who is a baker. She was making them out of her house, and I had a couple store-bought, but those are the only ones that I would buy. Now, I know if I still inboxed her, she'd probably make me one, but I can't even explain it, but it is the best chocolate bar I have ever had.
I guess it's a good one for chocolate covered nut day. That's really the most popular one. It's not necessarily a chocolate covered nut. It's infused into things, but all of these places are having the Dubai. That's clearly the popular flavor right now. So I if I go get a cupcake, cookie, whatever, pick up things for people at work, it's always the Dubai.
And I
stuff.
think it was a TikTok thing, wasn't it?
It's always a TikTok thing. That's what I've learned. I'm not big on TikTok. I think we technically have TikTok accounts for the other shows, but Rex runs those, so I don't really interact with those. But what about you, Terry? We got to get you involved. So do you have? Are you somebody that likes a chocolate covered nut? Do you like a chocolate covered peanut like Jeff?
Both.
Oh, all of it. Okay. See, I like a chocolate-covered raisin. I'd go with that maybe, but I'm going to try the Dubai bar. But by the next time you produce my show, Jeff, I'm going to have a Dubai bar.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about it, and then no one will know what we're talking about. But that's typical for the shows that I'm on. So,
right.
But no, we're excited to do this here because I believe that Steve attributed his last show as a little bit of a tribute to Bob Sullivan, but it definitely bears repeating another tribute to Bob. And we're having you, Terry, in for this, because definitely a legendary figure in Grand Rapids as a whole, not only on the baseball side, but just a valuable figure to Grand Rapids. So I do want to talk about him and kind of learn from you about him. You knew him better than most, and wanted to talk about his legacy, his long, lengthy, accomplished career. I look at a career like that and I think, oh man, I'm not doing enough with my life here. I got to catch up to Bob. But I'm curious to talk about kind of his legacy and what you guys are doing with the whole Sullivan Field Valley Field project and how you're continuing that legacy.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan and Jeff, for having me on Sports Project to talk about Bob. Bob was the mentor of our organization, Fans of Valley Field, and we just kind of he handed off the torch to us, and we're running with it. Currently, we are Sullivan Field, which is formerly Valley Field. It was renamed in 1996 in honor of Bob. We are in the deep mud right now. Work's being done at Sullivan Field, and we're hoping this year everything in this phase will be done, and we'll be playing ball again soon.
Okay, so how does the project look as a whole? You've got you're in this current phase, and then what does that look like going forward? Do you guys have a timeline on things, or it just kind of it depends on weather and the way the projects can get completed here?
I think they're going to make a big push to have the grandstands in the field redone this year, and then I know there's a museum coming in a future phase, and a new entrance, the Bissell Archway. Myers is put a lot of money in. They donated a scoreboard, and we will have a walk of fame as you enter the ballpark with
Nice.
plaques and bricks of former great players, and yeah.
That's cool. That'll be neat. I didn't realize. So those are some good sponsors that you're partnering with there. Meyer, Bissell, those are good sponsors to be helping out. What will be the theme of the museum? What will the museum look like? Is it going to be of the field or of kind of the history of baseball in Grand Rapids, or attributed to Bob? What will the museum cover?
Former teams that have played, local Grand Rapids teams, including Union High School. That's always been their home field.
Right.
But the Sullivans, the Black Sox, there's a lot of history there. And then also they had skating there for years, and we're hoping to bring that back.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And there will be some batting cages and pitching mounds going in brand new behind the scoreboard. And a new section with modern fold-down seating, cup holders, really comfortable seating from, I believe, American Seating here in Grand Rapids.
Okay.
So we're hoping that by next spring, Union will be playing baseball.
That will be a great venue for them, because it's a great location for a ballpark. There's all sorts of ballparks around the city, but that's obviously a legendary field ballpark, and I like that it's getting rejuvenated here. That Walk of Fame is going to be cool. That's a cool idea, that you're going to get a lot of people that are just going to want to go down there to see their star on the Walk of Fame there.
It's going to be incredible. It's going to be a good experience for everybody that comes to the ballpark.
That's cool. So I like that they're doing ice skating. I'm not going to be ice skating, Jeff. I'm not going to. No,
I haven't been on ice skates since 1998.
I think it's part of corporate policy. I don't think Scott is allowing us to ice skate. I've had 5 surgeries on this right arm, so that's enough for me. But no, it's nice that they're doing the multi-purpose thing, because obviously here in Michigan we can only play baseball for so many months out of the year. So it's I didn't know that about the skating, that they used to have skating down there at the park. So that'll be nice dual use of that park. That'll really rejuvenate that area around it. I think it'll make it a destination because I think now in recent memory, as it's been renovated and in the process of renovation, people are kind of passing by it. Now it'll be the place that people are going. They're plugging that destination in on their map and saying, "Hey, I'm going down to Sullivan Field."
The jewel of the West Side.
Exactly.
And, fans of Valley Field also host concerts all summer long at the ballpark.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. I'm a big concert goer. I've been to probably over 1,000 shows. I know Jeff's got to be a huge concert goer. He's a big record collector and concert goer. So we'll have to go check out a show down there. But yeah, that's great stuff. We're gonna take a quick break, but I want to come back and continue the conversation and talk more about Bob and the field in general here. So stick with us. You're listening to the Sports Project Primetime on Jethro FM. In studio here with Terry Lowery, and want to talk more about Bob here. We covered the field a little bit, but he was a great man, lived a great life here in Grand Rapids, very important to the fabric of Grand Rapids. And so I know you knew him better than most, Terry, so wanted to get some facts and information about the life of Bob Sullivan here.
Sure, thanks. So for those of you who don't know much about Bob or never heard of Bob, Bob was 96 years old when he passed away last week. He was a local businessman. He was a scout for the Detroit Tigers. He was a veteran of the Marine Corps veteran. He was also a member for 25 years, the Planning Commission and Zoning Board in Grand Rapids. Philanthropist, friend, mentor. Bob was driven.
Is that all? Is that all, Terry? That's all he did in 96 years? He needed about 960 years to do all that. That's amazing. I think you got more things. You got more things on the list?
Yeah, Bob had a sharp eye to spot potential, not only in baseball players, but in business opportunities, in politics, in life. They say a great baseball scout doesn't just look at the player standing in front of him, that they look at the player the person could soon be or become. He didn't want his players or his employees or his friends to be better, say, ball players. He wanted them to be better people. And it's shown. So just a few accolades from Bob. Bob started his carpet and furniture business in 1951. 2 years later, he started the Sullivan's baseball team. Just prior to that, Bob was, as an athlete, he was an athlete, a coach, a mentor, all-city swimmer, nationally ranked Golden Glove boxer, starter on Catholic Central's baseball team. Bob, as a player manager, mostly manager of the Sullivans, won 40 city major titles, 27 United Baseball League crowns, 30 Michigan National Baseball Congress state championships, 6 international titles, and 4 NBC national championships. Of the 600 players that wore a Sullivan's uniform, 249 signed professional baseball contracts, and over 76 made it to the major leagues, with 4 players becoming managers shortly after. Locally, Bob, besides being a scout, he owned a pro football team, the Shamrocks, later the Blazers, and a pro basketball team, the Tackers. Bob was inducted into the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame, the Michigan Golden Gloves Hall of Fame, the Netherlands Sports Hall of Fame, the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame. He was awarded the Gerald R. Ford Award and inducted into the Michigan Irish Hall of Fame.
That's amazing. I didn't know it until I researched for this interview. I didn't know about the football and the basketball. I knew about the extensive baseball experience because he's a legendary scout. He's responsible for a lot of what the Tigers have done in getting a lot of the players from Grand Rapids to there and locating a lot of players for them, as you mentioned, Terry. But I didn't know because he was ostensibly the first one to bring basketball and professional basketball and football to Grand Rapids, right? I mean,
that's correct.
I grew up with like the hoops and stuff. They were long after Bob bringing those franchises that you mentioned. I didn't even know that before the research for this interview here.
Yeah, I probably 4 or 5 years ago, I finally, when I got to meet Bob, he would tell me these stories. And speaking of the basketball team, Bob and a young Dave Rosema, who was Bob was going to accompany him down to Dave's first spring training in Florida. They stopped down in Indiana to watch Bob's Tackers basketball team play a game. And then they were going to fly down to Lakeland. And they rushed to beat a storm that was coming through. And they got up in the air. They weren't up there very long, and they had engine trouble and actually had to do an emergency landing at a military base. But they the next day they got a car and they got Dave Rosema to spring training.
I'm just going to assume that Bob landed the plane too, because I mean, what hasn't he
That
done?
wouldn't be
Jeff?
a surprise, would it? I mean,
yeah, this is just what I imagine. It's like the most interesting man in the world for those ads. That's what I'm thinking with Bob. I mean, what couldn't he do? I mean, the service time with the military, and then all of this great career stuff that he did, and that's, I think it's important to talk about this stuff because there's certain names that get associated with Grand Rapids as far as what they've done from a business standpoint, what they've contributed to the town. But I think this is one that we have to make sure to not leave out, as far as the part of the fabric of Grand Rapids with what he did from a business standpoint and also the sports standpoint here, because his legacy lives on. It'll live on with the field, and it lives on with all of those tentacles that he had out there with all these young players and not so young players. I mean, one of the players that played for the Sullivans was Mickey Stanley back in who was on the Tigers for the 68 World Series team. So that's how long that these teams have been around. And so he's got a lot of feelers out there and a lot of influence in the Michigan sports market as a whole, especially on the west side. So definitely worth talking about and continuing his legacy as you guys are doing with the field here.
So Bob grew up in the Great Depression. He knew what it meant to struggle, what it meant to work hard. Then he joined the Marine Corps, and I think they really got him into shape. And he was just, his mindset was nothing's going to stop me, nothing's going to get in my way. And before we end the segment, I just wanted to name some of the players that came through Bob's program.
Yeah, that's great.
Kurt Gibson, Al Kaline, Willie Horton, Jim Catt, Mickey Stanley, Phil Regan, Dave Rosema, Bill Bates, John Vanderwall, Paul Ossenmacher, Bill Landrum, Rob Ellis, all played substantial time in the pros. And then locally, Jesse Young, Gary Reed, Mike Eddington, coach at City College, Bob Goodart, Mike Couples, Mike Daybreak, Tom Ainsworth, Ronnie Rays, Curtis Morgan, Terry Lynch, Dick Clunder, Buzz Weinbeek, Rick and Ed Moore. Our prayers to all of the former players, Bob's two daughters and his granddaughter, and all his cousins or nieces and nephews. Our condolences.
Definitely. And at least his legacy will live on, because I think some people would kind of look at things and think, okay, well, I'm here for kind of a limited amount of time in the grand scheme of things, but he made the most of his time here, and the impact will be felt for a while. When you started out that list of the major league players, Jeff, I didn't know if he was listing major league ball players or just the statues at Comerica Park here,
right? Because
those are some of the better Tigers that we've had.
Absolutely,
and that's impressive. Obviously, with K-Line and all those players there, Gibby. So his legacy will certainly live on. I think you got a little bit more for us.
Yeah,
here, Terry.
I just wanted to end with this, and it's a famous quote often shared in scouting. The world may be different because I was important in the life of a young athlete. Looking around Grand Rapids, we can see that the world is indeed different because of Bob Sullivan. He found the best in us, he invested in us, and loved us. Bob, thank you for always seeing our potential. We'll keep playing the game the way you taught us, with heart, with hustle, and always with an eye on the next generation. rest in peace, my friend.
It's a perfect way to summarize things. Hopefully he does rest in peace, and his legacy will never be put to rest. It will continue on and in the field and in all these players and in the players that they also are able to mentor, because a lot of the players that you mentioned, Terry, are older players. Some of them are past themselves, Al Kaline and some of them. But think of how many people Al Kaline mentored in his career. He was a longtime coach after he was a player, and so the legacy lives on through all of that. So we're happy to have you here and have you join us for this. I also want to make sure, I do have some things in the notes for the end of the show, but want to make sure to direct people if they want to support Valley Field, Sullivan Field, where do we direct them to? Is there a website that they can go to?
fansofvalleyfield.com.org.
I think it's .org. Yeah.
And on Facebook, Fans of Valley Field.
Awesome.
Perfect. Yeah, be sure to check them out. It's a great project, and I'm excited about it. I'm going to be hanging out there, certainly for the concerts, not for the ice skating, but other people will do that. I'm not going to go down there. Scott Pasteur in the Ivory Tower will not let me go down there, but definitely for the baseball and the concerts here. But it'll be a destination location for a lot of folks, like you said, Pearl of the West Side. I live on the West Side. I love the West Side of town, so I'm glad we're getting another destination there. And thanks for joining us, Terry. Appreciate you coming in and educating us on Bob's great career and legacy and the Valley Field project here.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll have you back here again soon. And I know Steve is always pushing the Valley Field stuff. And I went to the Valley Field fundraiser where Dan Dickerson spoke as well. So always doing great stuff for the city. But
The Sports Project.